Welcome everyone to this FrightFest episode of the Caravan Tour of Terror, a show that finds us touring the globe through the medium of horrific, chilling and disturbing entertainment. My name's Donald, I'm the driver on this quest. Joining me at my side, as always, with a road atlas on his lap and cramp in his knees, actually it was cramp in my knees, is my navigator Ali. Say hello, Ali.
Hello.
Just normal. Just normal.
Yeah, it's Glasgow.
That's not how you say
Glasgow.
hello in Glasgow though, really. But
That's how I say it.
hello!
Hello.
Like you're starting a TV show.
Hello and welcome.
Yes, we're back in sunny Glasgow, although it was actually snowing when FrightFest was on.
Snowpocalypse.
Not quite, but yeah, we were slightly concerned. Because it's FrightFest time once again. We saw 12 films over 3 days, which is quite a lot, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, especially since one of the days had one film.
Yeah. That was the Thursday.
Wasn't
FrightFest,
4,
but
4,
not-
and 4.
Yeah, exactly.
That was your FrightFest kickoff.
And we've done this before, so it's the usual hot take
Yeah.
ramblings. Rather
Hot
than,
take ramblings.
rather than
Yeah,
well thought
minimal
out.
spoilers because most of these are either UK, international, or world premieres.
Yeah.
We don't want to give too much away, but we just want to give
Yeah.
our thoughts.
Uh,
And like last year, I'm going to read out the FrightFest website's description of each movie.
Yeah. So ignore clicks. There'll be clicks.
Clickety
If
click.
you hear little
click it.
mouse action,
Not that many. I've got them all
turnings,
up.
I've
I've already got them up.
got my little booklet here, so if you hear a page turning, just fucking
That's-
deal with
that's
that.
us
Right?
in general.
Got a little notepad here, okay?
What do you think? What do you think this is?
Well, to be fair, I tend to edit out the clicks, so any clicks you hear, it's because Ali's a lazy ass editor.
Oh.
It's worth noting before we get started that FrightFest is a slightly unique watching experience, so that will colour opinions somewhat. There's films that benefit a lot from being watched at FrightFest, like
Yes.
VFW, for an example of a film that we've talked about before. That benefited a lot from the crowd at FrightFest, whooping and
It's just a great
hollering.
movie, mate. I've watched.
It's also
I've
a
watched
great
that
movie,
since.
but it was also a really good way to watch it. And there's some films that might not benefit from being, in a run of 12.
Yeah, and I will also say that these movies tend to get compared to each other.
Yeah.
So that does skew scores
Yeah.
because of when and how you watch it.
Yeah. That being said,
If you watch a clunker after a great one,
Yeah.
it might get a lower score
Yeah.
than if you watched it in isolation.
but fuck it, we can't do anything about it, so we're
Yeah.
not going to bother trying to worry
I
about
wouldn't.
it.
I wouldn't have caveated it.
Well, now we've said
My
it.
thoughts are my
that's
thoughts.
It. Well, that's what I'm saying. Now that we've said it, that's it. But, it's just worth keeping in mind, I guess.
guesses?
So do you want to kick us off with Sisu? Sisu?
Yes, Sisu was the only movie we watched on the Thursday.
It was the only film I'd seen a trailer for as well. I hadn't seen a trailer.
Did you
for
not
it.
watch Blood and Honey's trailer?
No.
I can't remember if I did.
No, I didn't waste more time
from-
with that.
From the FrightFest website, from Jalmari Helander, director of Rare Exports and Big Game.
Seen either of them?
A blo-
I'm just going to interrupt you at all times.
A bloody World War II action epic that pits one hard-to-kill Finn against Nazi soldiers in Lapland. After a solitary prospector strikes gold in the wilderness, he runs afoul a retreating detachment of Nazi soldiers who set their sights on claiming the bounty. Unfortunately for the stormtroopers, this is no ordinary miner, but a mythic one-man army epitomizing the quintessential Finnish concept of Sisu. White-knuckled courage and unimaginable determination in the face of overwhelming odds. Let the pulverizing, shredding, and spectacular gore on land, sea, and air begin.
Yeah, seems pretty apt. Yeah, seems pretty apt.
Yep.
So I've not seen
Sisu-
Rare Exports, but I have heard of it. It's one of those Santa Claus horrors. I've never watched it. Might watch
One of
after seeing
them.
this, to be fair. It's in English, should say. Well, it's mostly in English, right?
It's mostly in English, yeah.
It's nearly all in English, really, because the protagonist is virtually silent.
Yeah, it is like 99% in English.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't, I think if it was in another language, you could watch it and get pretty much all of it. Anyway, it is an exploitation movie. It actually reminded me of a cross between Django Unchained and Inglorious Bastards, because it is sort of a western. It's very much a western, actually. Really, I mean, Christ, he's even a gold miner, but it's
got
like
very westerny
Nazi exploitation, violence kind of stuff.
Which fits into the Finn stuff.
Yeah,
because they didn't have a Wild West; they had Nazis. And I'd actually seen, I recognized the Nazi commander.
Yeah.
From Headhunters.
Yeah.
A pretty fun thriller with Nikolaj Coster-Waldau and Axel Hennie, who is the Nazi commander in this.
Yeah. He was in a Netflix movie that came out last year, I think, about him and his wife. I can't remember what it is. Him and his wife both go away on holiday and plot to kill each other. It's like a dark comedy. That was fun too. You should watch that.
Yeah, he seems that kind of man.
Yeah, he's a strange fellow.
And it's funny because he isn't like a necessarily very big guy, but he manages to strike a very imposing presence when he needs to.
Yeah, he's a good villain in this. And he kind of always plays assholes, actually.
Yeah. Even in Headhunters, where he's not really the bad guy, he's kind of a dickhead.
He's a total dick. Yeah. So Sisu, a lot of it is set in kind of like bleak wilderness. And they managed to do quite a lot with that. They've got like their set, because as I was watching it, I was like, wow, I wonder how they're going to keep coming up with interesting encounters for the miner to have, because it is mostly like just barren landscape with nowhere really to run or hide. But they managed to come up with like lots of little set pieces and things like that. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of gore. That would be my one knock against it, is it got I was kind of hoping for a really big change in scene, like a burnout town might have been nice or something like that, which doesn't really happen. But it was fun. There was whoop moments, you know. It's John Wick the Miner.
It is.
Has it got anything actually to do with John Wick? Because
producer.
Is it a producer?
I'm sure it says from the producer of John Wick.
Yeah, okay. I'd want to really double check hard on that, because I think they're just like, it's violent. It's really not it's much closer to an exploitation film. Although I get why they're trying to lump it in with John Wick, but I would much more compare it to Tarantino's films, weirdly. Like that kind of tribute to exploitation movies, like what we think grindhouse movies are. Sisu would be a grindhouse movie. That should have been a part of the grindhouse double bill. Sisu, it was good.
I would say it's budget shows at times.
Yeah, I think that's my criticism's unfair, because it is probably budget related regarding
my only other criticism, which again I can't really blame too much, is the fight scenes. The choreography isn't fantastic when it's just actual fight scenes and not creative ways to blow people to smithereens. Suffers mainly because, like, I mean, the main actor's age. He's looks 60s.
Yeah, I didn't.
And he's probably not had the action career that,
to be fair,
Keanu Reeves has had.
I didn't really notice it that much, which is funny, because even in the trailer for John Wick 4, I noticed Keanu's looking on a bit. Or like, but you don't get anything like The Irishman when it's Robert De Niro kicking a guy in the head, but you can tell he's got two fake hips. It's not that bad. Like I genuinely
it's
really
not.
But
I think that it would have just elevated the movie a wee bit with some actual choreographed fight scenes rather than.
Yeah, I get you.
And I will say that if you haven't seen anything about this movie, go into it completely cold. Don't watch the trailer. I think I feel not the best bits, but some of some really good stuff is in the trailer, and you know, especially in the first, say, half an hour to 45 minutes, I was like, oh yeah, that bit. Oh yeah, that bit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's kind of like yeah. I agree, because some of the best bits were in this trailer. There's still lots of really good bits, but yeah, I would definitely.
And in context, some of them played better, but some of them were just that bit.
Yeah. It's also not realistic at all, just in case I haven't made that eternally clear
No.
with my comparisons to Django and Glorious Bastards. It's ridiculous. Totally fucking ridiculous. So if you care about... like, if you're thinking, oh, well... I was like, oh, I wonder if this is, like, based on The White Death, the real-life finish. Because I just had a vague recollection of this real-life guy. And I was like, oh, I wonder if it's got anything to do with him. No, better fucking not be. Cause
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like an amalgamation of like 2 or 3 Finnish stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's definitely give it a score. It's what we do.
In my little booklet, I said 6.5 out of 10, but when I logged into IMDb, which doesn't allow half scores, I bumped it up to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after watching all of FrightFest, do you stand by that score?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We'll see how you feel about that at the end of the podcast. I also gave it a 7. I'm not trying to up or down you. I also gave it a 7 and scored that right after.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was just right after.
Very fun, very silly. Budget shows. Choreography's a bit shit. But yeah, it's definitely worth you'll have a lot of fun watching it, especially if you go in completely cold.
Yeah. Yep. Right. Next.
Onto the main feast. The main feast that was FrightFest. And we get to hashtag Chad gets the axe.
Yep.
Director Travis Bible.
I'm gonna click as well right now. Okay,
click. I don't think so. I think we're into ones where mostly they don't have. There's very little information out about these. They're just.
Yeah, a lot of these are fucking hell. I was like, when I was reviewing it, I was like, shit. My review matters here because it's gonna skew the average quite a lot with this one rating. So.
And back to FrightFest's website. Unfriended, Dashcam, Deadstream, and now director Travis Bible's instant found footage comedy horror where 4 social media influencers must decide if internet fame is worth the danger in real time. Bros Spicy Steve and Chad team up with a pair of beauty tip streamers to visit the supposedly haunted Devil's Manor, former home to a satanic cult. Things don't go well. Soon they're forced to wonder if it's all a prank created by other streamers, by each other, or if there is something more sinister at hand. And as the violence ramps up, so do the views and likes.
Yeah, influencer horror. Horror.
Yep. It's phones horror.
Filmed on iPhones.
Yeah.
Definitely influenced by Logan Paul, which
hugely.
I can't remember if it was director or writer said that straight up. Yeah. Like they did a short after the Logan Paul thing. There's a clear reference to it in this film as well. You all know the Logan Paul thing.
The Logan Paul thing.
Yeah. Started off a bit slow, I thought. Like for the first wee bit, the jokes were like, all right, fine, it wasn't. Could feel the entire audience being like, how is this gonna fucking go? Not sure about this. But it kind of started getting. I think it might even have been once they got to the location and kind of got. That was kind of when it started picking up a bit more, like because the characters are really fucking annoying by design, but that made it slightly grating to be with them, like in terms of.
I kind of found that a certain event happens, early on, and I don't want to spoil it. It is quite a big spoiler. And from that point, the characters are kind of just allowed to be a bit more unleashed, especially the main guy or second main guy. I don't know, whatever one.
Who would you call the main guy?
A Chad.
Right, good. Just making sure.
Yeah. And he's kind of let off the leash a wee bit.
Yeah.
And I think that benefits the movie more.
Yeah.
All the way straight to the end.
It's not a spoiler to say that Chad's a secondary character who becomes more of a primary character. I mean, the film's called Chad Gets the Axe. And at first he's he's just a dickhead, 100%. But the humor definitely works after that point. There's also scrolling comments on the side of the screen basically at all times, like an actual live stream. And some of those are really quite funny, but you need to. Someone I think the FrightFest organizer when he was in with the guy said you kind of have to tune yourself into reading them and watching the movie at the same time. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe we were getting more settled in. We were like reading, because sometimes everyone would laugh and I'd be like, "What are they laughing at?" And I'd look at the comment and then I'd get it later. Like it's a weird viewing experience, but it did work.
Yeah, and I actually feel it benefited from a cinema watch.
Yeah.
I think that it would be fun watching it with a group of friends, but again, those little moments where like just by numbers, some people are going to grab that stuff.
Yeah.
Some people like it just makes the whole viewing experience a bit more engaged.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. First 20, 30 minutes or so are a bit rough.
Go say 20, I think. It's only
again. This is just me trying to remember back.
Yeah,
I wasn't timing.
Yeah,
like it's more. Say first 20 minutes. It definitely gets more fun and more funny. The jokes get better as it goes along. Yeah. The death scenes were a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, you can tell it's. I mean, I'm sure the budget for this film was meager. I can't remember. I'm sure actually they said what it was, and I can't remember. But
but we watched. I don't know. We watched other movies, and we have seen other movies with a small budget that at least put some emphasis on the deaths.
Yeah, that's true. It's really not that kind of film.
Like it doesn't. I was quite surprised. It was more, not necessarily realistic, but like just very quick. They're not drawn out in any way. It's just very swift.
There's very little gore
for most of it.
I'd say that.
Yeah, and that too.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest part of this for me was less than 6 months ago we watched Deadstream. It is like genuinely, if I'd watched this and then watched Deadstream, I would have really enjoyed this and then enjoyed Deadstream way more. But they are basically the same movie.
Yeah.
And I think Deadstream does it better.
Yeah.
Deadstream kind of knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I don't remember if we might not have mentioned it on the show before. Deadstream is basically the same concept. Streamer who's atoning for his sins goes to this haunted house, and it's the same kind of setup with he's talking to the audience and everything like that.
There's comments down the side.
Yeah, it's what I would say about Dead. I mean, I gave Deadstream a 9 out of 10. I'm pretty sure, and it's both scarier and funnier, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it had better funny moments, and it is a proper actual scary movie. This isn't really I mean, this has got some scares, but I mean, I wasn't scared during it really.
This has got some horror movie stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Deadstream was much more like a really good like ghost story as well as being this kind of concept. So if I was the FrightFest people, I would really mention Deadstream in the blurb for this film. Just pretend.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is wow, you really like. I don't mean it bad. Like this is what they use to sell tickets to FrightFest.
Yeah.
And putting 3 other like similar movies that are not that old in
dear.
For your viewers to check out before watching this.
I will say the app integration in this film is really well done. Like Deadstream didn't quite have that. Like
it does it really well.
Oh, what's the other one? Is it? Oh, there's another one like this. It's absolutely escaping my. Is it called Host or something? The one that's like 55 minutes long. That kind of had a bit of that as well. But I think this does really well with the app stuff. Like it does kind of lure you into thinking that it's people on their phones and they do things that you would expect them to do using their phones and stuff like that. It's totally believable.
There's nothing worse than whether the movie is centered around it or not. There's nothing worse than really fake I suppose anything but technology use annoys
yeah.
me. You know, any typing scene in movies where they're just clackety clackety
Yeah.
clack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Swordfish is obviously a go-to. But yeah, if you're going to do a movie centered around using a phone, you have to make it believable that they're using a phone.
Yeah. And this movie, I think, even more so than Deadstream, it's a really good excuse to have...
Deadstream's a better streamer movie. This is a better phone movie.
Yeah. And so the influencer angle, I was going to say, it's much more believable that these people would put themselves in these situations. And it's definitely got a bit of a satire about that culture in general.
And it does it well.
Yeah, exactly. It does have stuff to say. It's not totally disposable like it could have been. Based on the tagline, based on like kind of the premise, you're like, oh, this could go wrong. But I gave it a 7 out of 10.
At the time, I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Why are you saying at the time all the time? Is it in case I convince you? Well, you better bump it up.
No, because I'm going to bump it up.
Hey, my fault.
And give it a 7 as well. Because sometimes, like when you allow, again, it's writing these down right after you've seen them, especially when you're watching 11, 12 of them in a row, essentially. They all get muddled together, so it's good that like there is a bit of time to actually look back at these.
The hot takes. The hottest ass takes.
Gazpacho takes.
And we'll never agree. I say the main character looks like John Ralphio, and you say he looks like Steve at Stranger Things, who both look like each other, but but I maintain he looks more like John Ralphio side. So whatever, we'll have to agree.
Who was there at the?
He was there the whole fucking time.
He was there. Yeah, I saw
movies.
I saw him at the last movie.
Yeah, and this was the first movie Friday afternoon. So fucking big ups. Good guy.
Big up, Spencer.
Big ups, boy.
So next, it was meant to be Irati.
Yes.
And that did not go as planned because Irati is a Spanish movie and the subtitles did not work. Yes. And there was a whole thing about it. And they played like the first 10 minutes twice.
Yes.
And then they did say we're going to just play Pensive, which was the last movie in this place, and spend the rest of the day basically trying to fix it with a lot of people
on
running
the phone
around
to the lab. I was like, fucking hell.
the lab. Yeah, having conversations in several different languages, trying to get this sorted. So next up was Pensive.
Yeah, which I found out putting in time IMDb is called Repinto Jealous.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
What does Repinto mean?
I
know what jealous means.
No, it's like all one word.
Oh, Repinto Jealous. Double jealous.
And it's Jelis. But I can see why you would
it's not
think.
jealous. Yeah.
Well, maybe it is. Give us the blurb about Repinto Jealous.
So, Pensive was the second movie on Friday. Director Jonas, Trukanas. Get ready for the very first Lithuanian slasher. Wooden sculptures of the Pensive Christ can be found in weirdest spots all through the Baltic states. They combine folk art and Christian traditions into a singular entity concerning the fear of being judged. And that's what is about to happen to the usually risk-averse Matthias as he organises the venue for his wild high school graduation party at a remote cottage. For his drunken and drugged classmates destroy some life-size wooden statues, and almost immediately a scarred, masked and mysterious killer starts picking them off one by mutilated one.
So I'm sure I looked at Lithuanian horror movies.
We did, and there was a whole thing about how Lithuania doesn't make horror movies.
So it was quite pleasant surprise. When I was like, what country is this? Then someone mentioned Lithuania. I was like, oh, what? They did a horror movie. What the fuck? So it's kind of it's pretty stereotypical. It's your carload of teens go to a cabin in the woods, except it's 5 carloads of teens go to a rave
Yeah,
in the
there's
woods.
so
There's
many of
shitloads
them.
I was like, how the fuck are they going to manage all these people?
And they do it not bad. They do it quite well.
Yeah, you turn up for a rave and the cabin that you've not really selected because you got lost is like a burnt out husk with creepy sculptures everywhere, and you go, fuck it, let's do drugs and dance.
Let's set up the speakers and DJ
the barbecue
podium. It's ridiculous. Without the slasher, I want to go to this.
Oh yeah,
party.
it looked fucking amazing. So there's 2 characters. There's Matthias and is it Ramis? 2
Sure.
main sort of rivals. Marius is set up from almost the get-go as well. That's not fair because Marius is friend as well, but Marius has this rival, and so
Because you've also got love interest whose name is also
he fancies Rames's girlfriend, and so it's kind of his fault that they go to this party because he's trying to be Billy Big Bollocks and act really cool to everyone,
and he gets scammed. For the place. And he's a big like soon to be NBA star, so he is like
sexy Ramis. Yeah.
There's a good recurring joke in it that where his parents basically love Ramos more than Marius.
Yeah, literally they worship Ramis like a celebrity, and they can't believe their son's anywhere near him at all times. Which
they're like, oh my god, our son gets to go to school with him. We're so lucky. But yeah, no, it's I genuinely enjoyed this quite a bit. I thought it was a really well done teen slasher movie that kind of subverts some of the stuff you expect from teen slasher movies. Kind of the same way that Booksmart kind of subverted what teen comedies are. You know, the stereotype of the character and what the main person is usually portrayed as, and how that is actually comes through in real life, or the extreme of that taken. And you know, things like the stoner kid isn't just a stoner kid. Like he had, all the characters had a bit of depth to them. At least the main ones. I'm not talking about the 20 shed loads of kids. But you know, they all at least had a bit more to them than their surface. Like, this is my, you know, the athlete, the quiet study one, the weird girl, the hot girl. Like, they all had their roles, but it was expanded a wee bit more than most teen slasher movies do. And I felt the first... It's another one that got going quite slowly, but I think it used its time better because it did it, like, it expanded on these characters well. It set us up in a good story and a good locale. Like, and just as things were kind of getting to a point, I was like, okay, right, they're actually moving it. Good. Like, let's go.
Yep.
Was wondering how they would deal with so many characters. I thought they did it well. It's not anything special, but I thought they did it well.
Yeah, there's so many kids. Anyway, I didn't really. I don't know the way the protagonists develop. It's very hard not to spoil this movie. The way the protagonists develop, I thought was kind of like a fine line, and I was a bit like, I don't know. I wasn't sure that it worked 100% for me. And you've got your slight throw. Oh God, there was a. It just felt a bit throwbacky in certain ways. It was kind of, its mood is slightly nihilistic, but like it's a bit bleak, and it's not. It's definitely not fun. It's not like a fun slash movie. It's more your bleak kind of, not quite Wolf Creek level, but that kind of way. But your scarred killer with a weird the killer was just, I don't think the killer really worked for me. It was just such
I'd agree with that.
Tropey
I think
kind of thing that
it wasn't like, I think they could have done better with what their everything surrounding that. I really enjoyed, whereas the actual killer was just too straight down the middle. Like we're not going to think of anything out the box for this.
Oh, not even that. It's like, I mean, it's unusual to see. I think anyway, it's unusual to see like a slasher movie starring like a killer that's horrifically scarred from like an accident. Like these are kind of
With a
tropes. Yeah, these are kind of tropes that we've kind of left behind, like fucking, a decade ago now, kind of thing. Slasher movies aren't usually like, I don't know. I don't know why it was, but I think the fact that he was burnt, I was like, don't do that. Like that was a Freddy Krueger thing, and now we're not looking towards people who are burnt in society and going, "You're a crazy fool" or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was,
I mean, he ticks about 3 of those boxes.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's so.
And that's not really a spoiler. It doesn't set it up to be anything else. It's not like, even though it takes a while for the killer to appear, there isn't any suspense to that.
No.
There isn't a lot of like build up of like watching and blah blah blah. It's just straight up, here we go, we're in.
I mean, the
like,
synopsis,
there is now a
the
killer
synopsis
here.
tells you almost exactly what happened, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but synopses always do that these days. Like if you're just in the sense of if you are going in.
Yeah, there was
cold.
There was a Chekhov's gun moment that was not paid off, and I won't say what it is. But after you watch this film, you'll probably be able to guess what it was, because it really pissed me off, by the way. So I don't think I liked it as much as you, although I do think my score was maybe way a bit harsh, but I'm not going to change it. I said 5 out of 10. Would it be a 6? Not sure. So 6 is always like what I recommend it to people. And for me, I think when I came out of it, I was like a bit throwbacky, a bit too slow. Definitely too slow at the outset. Like, I know you said that as well, but I definitely thought, fucking hell, get moving now, please. And for me, the protagonist's journey, I didn't find it a rewarding watch, although it was definitely more interesting than what it could have been. So it might just be my personal opinion on that, more than, because I could recognize it's definitely more interesting than how it could have gone. So,
yeah.
Score? You never said.
I know. I'm debating between a 7 and an 8.
Fucking hell.
And I think I'm leaning more towards a 7. Which would give me 3 7s in a row, which makes me fucking useless.
Well, I know you're not going to give a 7 to the next one, spoilers, so that's fine.
So yeah, that it was. I think it's going to be a 7. Like, I think especially after. So this was movie 3, day 1.
Yeah.
We're getting into things, and I think I just saw an uptick in that movie. There are definitely things I liked about it a lot, and it was just straight up a horror movie, which is always nice.
Yeah, I will say also, in its defense, we watched it at what? It must have been 5:30. And it was slated to be 11 p.m.
Earlier,
and it would have worked better in the late slot because it is like a dark, gory horror movie. So
no, you've just had lunch.
You've just been disappointed by not being able to see Irati. We'll give you this instead. So yeah, it might have played a part as well. Who knows?
I also thought it was really well shot. I thought it was really nicely.
It was fine.
Okay. Fine.
No, I just.
Next up was Mother Superior. Still on Friday. Yep. Directed by Marie-Alice Wolfszahn. This is a German movie.
Mm-hmm. Austrian.
Is it? Apologies.
I'm just reading the thing.
What? Rosenkreuz Manor. Sigrun Fink, desperate for information about her biological family, starts a new position as nurse to the aging, ill, and eccentric Baroness Heidenreich. For a shared longing binds them together, the old lady's memory contains the secret to Sigrun's true identity. The nurse's life force holds the key to the future for the Baroness. On the path to self-discovery, Sigrun is confronted with the sinister world of folklore occultism, carried out by the Baroness and her sinister groundskeeper Otto. One opening an unearthly pagan abyss in which every moral and principle will be tested. Mother Superior. Donald, tell me about Mother Superior.
It's a period movie set probably the 80s, was it? Late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, I think so.
And it basically deals with themes of like inheritance, I guess. There's a lot of stuff about, because it's post-Nazi Germany or Austria.
Yep.
I'm honestly not sure if it's set in Germany or set in Austria. It just says Austria there in the little thing in FrightFest. So it's got a lot of stuff. The protagonist of the film, it's not is it a spoiler? Shit. Can you talk about her background? It said true identity. Okay, no, I can't talk about it more. But it is related to World War II and the Nazis, and the old woman in it was a firm, like, staunch Nazi herself. And the film kind of deals with the kind of hangover from the Nazis in World War II and how the country looks at it by looking at this woman's search for meaning in her life as well. She's obsessed with where she came from.
Yeah, and especially that difference between the generations, the older generation, how the older generation looks at the war, and how the younger generation looks at it, and how it stands today, being the 70s, 80s.
And there's stuff about like blood inheritance versus she's. Can you say that either? Fuck's sake! It's really hard to talk about without spoiling it, but so it's obsessed with inheritance basically in a lot of different forms. It's shot really nicely, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's intercut. It's the main woman protagonist is telling her story in like an interview situation, and all those scenes are shown on like period appropriate equipment, like a TV in this room. But then the manner in which most of it's set, you just get really nice shots around that place. You also get really nice kind of nightmarish visuals and things like that. Mm-hmm. It was going really well, really good, and then it's only 71 minutes long because they didn't know how to end it, and they ran out of money or something, I don't know, so went, fuck it, we'll do this, and it's terrible. But until the ending, I thought it was really good, and I still like the journey. The ending is insane. It's literally insane. I don't understand. I would definitely recommend watching it because it's short and it's got an insane ending, but, you know, that's just me.
It's not just you. No, I completely agree. Like, this is a gorgeous looking movie at times. All the performances are really well done. But yeah, and it sets up layers upon layers of like really interesting intrigue, and then ultimately does absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah,
like it just farts out an ending and then ends.
Yeah, all the answers you might have been wanting to get along the way,
nothing,
things like that. It's truly very bizarre, honestly. It's weird. No, I don't mean the ending. I mean the choices made.
Yeah, I think they had, and it seems like they had a general conceit and then didn't really have much else, but executed that general conceit very well.
Yeah.
Just not the rest of it.
Yeah.
And there was also a bit that annoyed me because there was this whole thing about the Baroness, and this is not like, I mean, this is a minor nitpick in the movie, but it just stuck with me. Where the they're like, oh, you're working for the Baroness. She's gone through like 20 nurses in 8 hours, like that kind of the usual, like she can't keep a nurse.
Yeah.
And then throughout the movie, like, it's not that bad. Like, see as a patient, it's not.
But
like it's. But there's also that but like also this
machinations.
Yeah, it could be machinations, but also like if that is just the case, then fuck it. It's not like she throws teacups or anything. She's just a bit moany at times. What would you give it?
I did give it a 7. Now, that's because I particularly enjoyed the journey. That ending, though, honestly. I don't think I would go down to a 6, though. It's funny, like, it's so fucking weird of an ending that, like, I would definitely say watch it.
Because it's only 71 minutes.
70 minutes and it's bizarre. Yeah, I stick with 7, I think. It's probably lucky to get it. But
I mean, I'll say that I'm going to give it a 6 and it's lucky to get it.
oh yeah, the other 2 guests we were with freaking hated it. But they also hated the journey of it. So I was like, oh, well.
But their opinions are terrible anyway. I gave this a 6 and it really claws that all up with how well it does the, like, say, middle third of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. But, Mm-hmm. I agree. That's probably the best stuff.
But yeah, it just. I was so let down by it. Like.
Yeah.
There are movies where you. It is like the epitome of one of those movies where it cuts to black and you're like no, and then it just ends and you're like, oh my god.
I don't know if that would have been worse or better.
Yeah.
Yep, not sure. Right, will we move on?
We'll move on to Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. Blood and Honey. This was directed by Rhys Frake-Waterfield. Apparently a Dutch movie. Don't know about that. Like, I'm shocked by that considering everyone that's in it.
Yeah, it's weird in built Netherlands. Yeah.
But it might have been financed there.
Yeah,
Who
it must
knows?
have been, yeah.
Be warned, this ain't no bedtime story. During childhood, Christopher Robin befriended Winnie-the-Pooh, Piglet, and their friends.
Off camera.
Played games and fed
friends.
them.
Can only afford 2 masks.
No, they're not off camera. They're just drawn.
They're biro
at the start
drawings,
of the movie. Yeah. But as he grew older, the visit stopped, leaving them increasingly hungry and desperate, eyeing Eeyore as food. Now, Christopher has returned to the forest with his new wife, hoping to introduce her to his old friends. But it sends Pooh and Piglet on a murderous scavenger hunt for human flesh when they antagonize a group of college girls on a rural cabin vacation. Will Christopher still get Pooh back on the right track?
I object to college girls because it's university students.
It is university students, yeah. You don't know, they might be going to college.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a 1 year entry course.
Are they going to university or college?
No, not anymore.
Oh god. Winnie-the-Pooh.
Winnie-the-Pooh.
Blood and Hoene. 1 out of 10.
What to say? What? You're a liar.
I mean, it's right. It was a very fun viewing experience.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is so good it's bad if you're not in a cinema with lots of other horror fans.
So you're saying it deserves a cinema release?
No, it definitely didn't. But what I'm saying is, like, I was laughing at it. But would I have been laughing at it as much if I wasn't surrounded by people that were also laughing at the mood was up.
The mood was up. Get a bunch of people around that haven't seen it already.
Maybe. I don't know if
test your theory.
I mean, we watch bad movies for fun, you know.
Yeah.
We love a good Neil Breen. I don't know if this would have made it because it's so fucking low effort. It is. Oh my god! It knows it's shit. It knows it's shit. And those kind of films. You know, you want like the
I don't think it hits
tortured auteur who's rubbish rather than this.
Yeah, true, but I don't think it's as like as on the nose bad as like something like Sharknado.
Yeah, but it's definitely trending.
It definitely swings towards that end of bad. But I also don't think it's quite there. I'm not a Sharknado fan.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed this.
Yeah. It's got some great lines. I wrote some of them down. You nonce.
I mean, that was the one that got yelled through the rest of the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I brought a gun.
Oh, the gun was huge.
And it features the worst accent work. I'm trying to think of a film with worst accent consistently. Like, we couldn't even tell if that guy was American. There was another guy that might have been Australian. We really weren't sure. It's bizarre.
So the cinematographer was there.
Yeah.
And I'm glad because it was a better shot movie than it was written or directed.
Yeah, the actors are there and they were all fucking garbage. Christopher Robin was fucking dreadful.
Awful.
Really,
Awful.
truly bad, and he was there. I mean, it is a 1 out of 10 film. It's shit. It's really shit. It's shit, and it was made to cash in. It's not some fucking
tortured auteur.
Yeah, Winnie-the-Pooh was going, and they've made fucking millions of dollars. There's going to be a sequel. So what can you do?
And another one, Bambi, which I think will be way worse and won't hit the right.
Yeah.
Like, I think that'll just be.
This is it. This is it. They're not going to be able to replicate this success again. This was in the news again today. I won't say why because that'll date this, but whatever. You know what I mean? Don't want to get into politics, but this fucking movie is everywhere. They said it was the quickest selling movie of the whole fucking weekend. This thing. Oh, dear.
And then to close out the day one, they actually got Irati fixed.
And boy.
Oh, I didn't give Winnie-the-Pooh a score.
One. It's clearly a 1. The only thing it would raise it above a 1 is your personal enjoyment of it, but objectively it's a 1.
Yeah, but what do you judge a movie on? You're not a robot.
Quality?
Well, yeah. No, but enjoyment.
No.
No, but I have to weigh enjoyment versus like the movie.
Right, okay, I'll give it 2 scores. Well, right, what did I give?
I'm going to give it a 2 because I'm going to balance those things out. Like, for example, a 1 for me is like A Cloud So High.
Yeah.
It was bad and I fucking hated my time with it. Like, that is a 1 to me. And we talk about this a lot. Because it's hard to rate movies. But, yeah, like, that is a 1 to me. A movie that I both know is bad and I absolutely loathed the experience of watching it.
Yeah.
Like, there are movies I gave higher scores on this weekend that I didn't have as much of fun watching.
Like, I don't think this is as good. So we watched The Ledge last FrightFest, and I don't think this is even as fun and good a bad movie experience as The Ledge was.
What did you give The Ledge?
3. So
Well, there you go. Give it a 2. Or give it a 1. I'm just saying I'm giving it a 2.
I gave A Cloud So High a 1.
Yeah,
okay,
obviously.
so maybe it's a 2. Maybe it's a 2. I think that... See, A Cloud So High was made by a fucking idiot that was trying to say something as well, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe A Cloud So High should be a 2. Because at least... this should be a 0. I think the reason why I hate it so much is just a cash grab on top of being fucking garbage. Do you know what I mean? It's the totally mercenary nature of it that makes me want to give it a 1. So I'm going to give it a 1.
But I had fun, dude.
Yeah.
I had fun watching it.
Yeah, fun doing lots of things that I would disapprove of. Anyway.
But that's what personal opinion is. That's why reviews are personal.
Not actually referring to anything specific.
But yeah, no, it's you can get good. You can get good cash in like bad movies, and you can get bad cash in bad movies.
Yeah. Whatever. Splitting hairs now, really.
Yep. On to the last movie of Friday. We had Irati. They finally got it working.
Yep.
Very, very pleased. They gave him a big round of applause because the guy was there the whole time.
Yeah, the director was very upset. They said he'd been crying and stuff, and I could...
Yeah. I'm sure he was delighted for that piece of information to be shared with 200 people.
He's passionate.
Director Paulo It says Paul here, but I'm sure they were calling him Paulo the whole weekend.
I'm not sure.
Paul Urkijo Alijo. From Eremante director comes The Basque, The Lord of the Rings, based on the graphic novel by J.L. Landa and J. Munoz. Christian nobleman Enico must fulfill the promise he made to his late father to protect and lead his people into the new era. To do so, he must recover his father's body, buried next to Charlemagne's treasure. However, despite his faith, he needs the help of his childhood friend, the pagan Irati. On this mythological and magical mission, the two young men venture into a strange forest where everything that has a name exists. Which is apparently an old Basque concept.
Yeah.
According to the director.
Charlemagne?
Charlemagne.
I don't remember anything about Charlemagne in the film.
Don't remember anything about Charlemagne either.
That's weird.
I just remember it being Christian, like...
Yeah. It's definitely the whole.
I just don't know if it was. I didn't specifically remember Charlemagne himself.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Maybe that's in the other subtitles.
Yeah. So Ermentari director. I really like Ermentari. You should watch it. We'll watch it together sometime. And this movie is definitely. It's been a long time since I've seen Ermentari. I do think I remember it having a bit more humor than this film. This film's not really got a lot of humor to it or anything like that. It's quite straight. And a big part of it is the territory, like going towards Christianity and like turning away from their pagan traditions and what that does to the spirits, the spirits that feed on their kind of belief and things like that. It's kind of like American Godsy in that kind of concept, like, but magic exists. I don't know what should I say for it. I mean, this film, when I got out of it, the first thing I thought was, fuck, this should have been second film in the running, not last film in the running. Because it's quite heavy going for being a film shown at 11 p.m. after Winnie-the-Pooh, blood and fucking honey. It's really, like, those first 50 minutes that we saw 3 times are really good. And it looks really nice. It had really good effects and really stylish effects quite a lot through. And I knew it would because Ermentari's got that too, with even less budget. This definitely had quite a big budget compared to Ermentari, but the director is really good at he's got real flair, and I saw the similar kind of flair through both, which was good because that's what I kind of wanted. But yeah, it was just a wee bit heavy going. It took a while to get going. It was maybe a wee bit self-serious. I don't know. Do you know what I mean by that? Like,
I mean, I do, but also I don't see it as an issue. I mean, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I think the sluggish first half hour or whatever you're thinking, it didn't help that we watched that first 10 minutes 3 times.
No,
do you know what I mean? Like, by at the first 10 minutes, we were at least knowing what was going on at that point, but like we had seen all of this. We knew roughly what was going on.
I actually think the first 10 minutes are really they're actually really breathtakingly shot, and then it dips naturally because it's like, right, we've had this, now let's introduce you to the
set
story.
up everything.
That just felt so much worse because wow, the whole movie is going to be amazing, and it's like, right, okay, it's not bad, but you have to have this natural trough of character work and conversation.
So I do think that first, like, the technical issues did hurt our viewing experience
100%.
a bit. But I tried to put that aside. And I genuinely really enjoyed this movie. It would have really benefited from its original slot. An afternoon slot would have been perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
It really, the use of color in it is brilliant. He talked about that before the movie started. Really vibrant a lot of the time. Really uses it to like set scenes in an interesting way. I thought the acting was really, really well done. The visuals are awesome. The costumes are awesome. I just had a great time with this. It is not a horror movie. It isn't.
No, it's not.
It's a fantasy movie. It really.
Elementary wasn't really a horror movie either. It's so,
But there's
slightly more horror-esque, but not really. Yeah, there's other things in the book, but it's just.
But I really enjoyed this movie. I'm glad it was as successful as it was when it finally got shown. The director did seem absolutely lovely, and the fact that I cannot imagine being in that scenario. And then having to watch people whether they enjoy your movie or not. Like, can you imagine that? Waiting all day to have this shown, and then everyone was just like, boo!
Like when Anderson Falls didn't work at the start of...
Oh, fuck. That was awful.
That's
your
a
other
previous
1 out of
Fright
10.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed this movie top to bottom. 114 minutes, maybe runs a touch long, but nothing terrible. Again... it didn't help that it was the last movie. I think again an afternoon slot, 114 minutes would have been totally fine. As you said, at 11 o'clock after Winnie-the-Pooh Blood and Honey, 114 minutes seems like quite a lot. So I can't really, and 114 minutes isn't a lot. Like, it's not a long movie. I think we were just tired, so I highly recommend this movie just as a fun watch, a fun fantasy watch.
Well, Mother Superior was 70 minutes, then Pooh can't have been more than like 85 or something.
90 minutes.
So then, 2 hours after those two films would feel like even more.
So that closed out day one.
You didn't score it, neither did I.
Oh, fuck. I would give it, I'd give it an 8.
Are you making this up off the top of your head? I feel like you are.
No, I've got what I gave it at the time and then what I gave it after. Like what I'm giving it now. The same as I gave...
Got you.
Was it Pensive? I gave an 8 at the time and then...
Yeah, say both. Say both. If you're changing it.
Yeah, Irati, this is one that I think didn't move. I thought about a 9 at the time. But I think an 8. I think an 8 is suitable. And I'll stick with that. That was I really enjoyed it. Again, really unfortunate the way that the technical viewing worked, but the way that the FrightFest crew and organizers.
No one was being one person was being really pissy about it, but the 99% of the audience.
Unfortunately,
was
the
really
person
nice.
sitting next to us was the one person that was like, "Well, I just don't see what the problem is. I mean, they should be letting us know what's going on." And it was like, this happens. We've seen it before.
Well, fucking hell, they're on the phone to the lab. Like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like,
but all the, I mean, 99% of the audience, all the crew and the FrightFest organizers worked really hard to like help him. And that was really good to see, like the kind of community, like bits and pieces of the community, just to, since we're wrapping up day one anyway. It is nice to see the kind of way that I mean, I spotted people from previous Fight Fests, just audience members, and then you've also got like all the cast and crew, whoever are like there to do their
there's actually more
the media run.
There's
tons show up, and
I mean,
then
I suppose it's been the last two we've seen are kind of in the shadow of COVID, so that might have something to do with it. But fuck me, there seemed to be a lot of cast and crew that all hung out, which was very nice. I gave Irati a 6, by the way. Although I would want to watch it. I would want to watch it again. I would watch it again, just to see if I
think if you watch it with your wife on, like, you know, a glass of wine in hand. No, absolutely not.
I think I will do that. I'll probably double bill it with Elementary. I've got to watch Elementary twice more. Really good film, by the way.
You really like that movie.
Good film.
So Saturday, we started with Hunt Her, Kill Her.
Now, this is another one that's got a different title. Night Shift on IMDb some reason.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Directed by Ryan Thiessen and Greg Swinson. A taut, brutally intense thriller using space and time to deliver a constant level of suspenseful violence and plenty of surprises along the breathtaking way. Karen is a desperate young mother who has just filed divorce papers on her abusive husband. Forced to take a job as the night shift janitor at a large furniture factory, she is told she will be the only one working at this time. But after seeing a strange vehicle idling in the parking lot and finding a door to the factory ajar, Karen gets the feeling she might not be alone. Hunt her, kill her.
Yeah, so this started off pretty interestingly in that I think it's quite a good setting, like night shift, a big warehousey factory kind of thing, women on her own, kind of first night on the job, whatever, that's kind of incidental, but I think that's quite a good setting for like a horror movie, although we weren't sure exactly what was going to happen. Like the acting, I'll leave that for now. So basically, there's masked people running around, hunting her, trying to kill her, as the other title suggested. They've got really edgelordy masks on. It's like plastic airsoft masks. Their voices are pitch shift, dirty here, weirdly. Yeah. They say bitch a lot.
They say bitch a lot. Like bitch. A lot.
Where's the bitch?
I'm gonna get you, bitch.
You're gonna escape, bitch. Like,
it's ridiculous. It's beyond comedic.
And it basically, there's the initial shock of people are trying to get her for some reason, and then there's quite a lot of she's running around and they're running around. Yeah, with much being developed. And I found her acting really bad. But she's the one delivering a performance. The rest of them are fucking vocoder. They're like weird voices under masks. She's really the only face you see.
What about Mr. Fresh Meat?
Oh god, yeah. Some of the cliches in this fucking script was honestly, I couldn't believe it. Like saying fresh meat to a new employee. I mean, that's like a prison drama saying fresh meat or something. That doesn't fucking happen anymore without just sounding so fucking ridiculous. So what saves it there are brutal, violent scenes in it, which are kind of funny. Now, is that the intention? Probably not. But everyone was laughing at them, and it definitely saved it from being pretty
totally shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Like a complete waste of time, yeah. I would say, is it worth watching for the... Yeah, do you know what? This could, in the right circumstances, this could be a bad movie watch because of those death scenes. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's kind of got that energy about it. It's quite the ledgy. It's kind of just... It
is. So, yeah, what is it with these movies saying the word bitch all the time?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it... I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
And yeah, it's 89 minutes and it felt longer.
Yeah.
Again, the premise is pretty well done, but there's one of the problems is for the first like 20 minutes after the killers appear, it is literally just her running around with no plan.
Yeah.
In an empty warehouse.
Yeah.
Or like, and that's not visually interesting.
Yeah.
Add on top of that the acting, which is just poor. I'd say across the board. Best actor in it is Scruffy the janitor that hands her over the. And the tone of it just seems a bit all over the place, whether intentionally or not. Like you said, some of the deaths are pretty funny at times.
Yeah, and I genuinely don't know if that was meant or not.
Yeah, exactly, but they are.
It's so shocking.
No, I mean, like, at least there's arguments to be made for most of the deaths that are like comedic to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But then it also has like really uncomfortably like domestic violence stuff in it.
That was very uncomfortable. Yeah.
And it's not that you can't have that in a movie, like, but it didn't fit within anything else that would be seen on screen for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So I can see what you mean about it being a fun, not bad sentence to follow what I just said up with. I can see what you mean about it being like a fun kind of like watch with friends, but for me, it doesn't quite.
No, I don't think it quite gets there, but it
doesn't.
Flirting
Yeah.
with it a lot. I gave it a 5, mostly because of the gore.
The gore's great. The gore's probably what lifts it for me.
Yeah,
like 2 or 3.
It would have been.
Remember, I'm giving this more than blood and honey.
It would have been a certain 4 if it wasn't for the gore. It's a 4 without the gore, all right? But it's a 5, I think.
Okay.
It's still not a recommendation.
Yeah. Not a strong start to Saturday.
No. So,
but then we moved on to Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls,
which we had no idea what it was.
Nope. Hadn't a clue. Genuinely hadn't a clue. Directed by Andrew Bowser. I will say that going into this, we thought this was probably
a whimsical fantasy movie,
but like a whimsical fantasy movie set in either like Spain or somewhere in Asia.
Yeah.
Like we had no idea. Really no idea. Based on director Andrew Bowser's viral character Onyx, who has racked up 300 million plus views online and has over 1 million TikTok followers, fledgling occultist Marcus J. Trilbury, Onyx, attends a black magic ritual at his idol Bartok the Great's dark mansion. But terrible things begin to happen, and it soon becomes clear that Bartok's intentions are way more nefarious. As Marcus battles to keep his soul, the question of great destiny looms. Is he doomed to remain a nobody, or will he rise to defeat Bartok and save his fellow Satanist followers from damnation?
Onyx Fortuitous, the Talisman of Souls.
The Talisman of Souls.
It was quite funny because I was like, that looks like that character in those YouTube videos. But I just thought it was a guy that looked like him. I didn't think it was him. And I was like, it is fucking him. That's weird. This movie lives and dies on whether you think that character's annoying. We'll say that straight away.
Yeah, that 100% is true. If you do not like this character, then you will not like this movie.
No.
I went into it fresh. I'd never.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever even heard of this guy
I
before.
didn't know his name or anything like that.
But you knew the shorts. You knew the man on the street
the one
stuff.
from 14 years ago. I had no idea that he was still doing this. I had no
well,
idea
there
this
you
had
go.
happened. This was Kickstarted or whatever it was.
So yeah, I hadn't heard of it. You were vaguely aware of him. I really love this movie. This movie's great. This movie's really good.
It's a really good comedy horror. It had pretty consistent laughs throughout the whole thing.
Yep, whole way through.
It's like the Bowser, I'll call him Bowser, said himself that it was kind of like a love letter to kind of that kind of 80s kind of kid-friendly horror, that kind of
campy horror.
Yeah. With like real prosthetic.
What was Pierre Jackson's one?
Brain Dead. So it's like that, but it's not.
Or what was the Michael J. And what was the Michael J. Fox one? Frighteners. Yeah. It's got Frighteners feel to it.
Right. Got you. And it definitely is a kind of love letter to horror in a way. It's got some really fucking silly looking puppets that are meant to be silly,
fantastic,
and funny. Jeffrey Combs is
great.
really, really good in it. I think
choose scenery like
really good. I think it's best thing he's done since Reanimator, I'd say.
I have always thought Jeffrey Combs doesn't get enough work.
Yeah.
He is excellent. He is great in Reanimator. He even as the milquetoast kind of, guy that he is in that, he still choose scenery in the best, and he always does it in the perfect way for the movie that he's in.
Yeah. And he seems to be really fucking going for it in this movie.
He seems to be having a great time with this role. Like he is just absolutely going for it, and it paid, and only all to the movie's benefit.
Yeah.
Both the over the top, evildoer monologues to the jokes. He nails 100%. I'd say in fact all the cast really play their roles spot on.
Yeah. And I'd say for being, I'm sure it's not a very high budget film, it looks good. Like the prosthetics are fun, and like I don't know, I thought it was quite, because I've seen other YouTuber movies.
Yeah,
and this one was very professional. Like some of them,
I think we looked it up. It made its $500,000 on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And then it got other backing. So we're talking about a $1 to $2 million movie, probably.
Yeah.
And its budget does not show at all.
No,
like, if you told me this movie cost $15 million, I would say, cool, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah. And being directed by the Bows, I mean, I think he did a fucking stand-up job.
I don't mean it bad. Yeah, he could have got an actual experienced director to, and I don't know what else maybe he is. Like maybe he has done other stuff while doing his, but assuming that this is just his
feature debut,
first
probably
feature debut, that he went and did his own character, directed it himself.
Yeah.
In a feature rather than on a phone or for a YouTube video. Is a big difference, and he makes the transition exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I would give this movie an 8.
I gave it a 7, but I'm harsh.
I might give it a 9.
I gave it a 7, and it's damn fine.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I genuinely had fuck you. I had a great time with this movie. As you said, the laughs were consistent throughout.
If I was giving it 0.5s, I'd give it a 7.5.
I give it an 8.5, but we're not there, are we, bud? I just found it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Comedy and horror are two things that are very, very hard to get right, and it does both really well.
Yeah, it was a very fun time. Very good time. Very good time indeed. Now, we moved on from the very good times to
Consecration. Directed by Christopher Smith. There is but one God and his shadow. Grace is summoned to the Mount Saviour convent deep in the Scottish Highlands following the mysterious death of her priest brother. Refusing to believe he committed suicide and determined to discover what really happened, Grace starts her own investigation as the nuns prepare a consecration ceremony to purify the holy site. Soon she inadvertently shines a light on murder, sacrilege, and a disturbing truth relating to the forgotten years of her own childhood, intertwined with that of the convent's holy order and the secret it's charged with protecting.
Gina Malone?
Jenna
Malone?
I'm going to say Jenna.
And her dodgy English accent investigate her brother's death. Like, it's
so weird.
It's one of these, like, it's like that kind of received pronunciation English accent.
But she didn't receive it quite.
It is like that kind of 1950s movie style. No one actually talks like this in real life.
She's a politician.
It's not even... exactly. The dog went along the road. It's
it's received pronunciation. It's what politicians talk like.
It's kind of forgettable. It's what did I write about it? Mostly passable, highly average. Although the ending means 0 cents to me. 5 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10. I gave it 4 out of 10. That's literally all I've written. I usually write more than that.
I think because I watched Mother Superior, I gave this a bit better of a score. Its ending, I'll give to you, made not a lot of sense, but at least a little bit more than what Mother Superior.
Yeah, that's true. Well, no, that's not true. I understand what happened at the end of Mother Superior. Does it make sense how it happened? No. But I literally don't understand what happened at the end of this film.
There are other
literally,
pieces of
I don't
media.
understand. I literally don't understand what happened at the end of this film.
That do the ending of this better than this did.
I don't know that for sure, because I don't know what it was doing. So, right.
I will say that I did enjoy.
Flippant. Let's talk about it a bit more. Let's.
I did enjoy this movie. I thought the intrigue and setup were pretty decent. I thought Danny Huston played his role pretty perfectly. I thought he was. He can vary wildly in his performances, and I think we got Danny Huston on a good day.
He's a strange presence because he's kind of got an air of schmarmy yank.
Yeah, but also has that. But he is also quite an imposing presence.
Yeah, I know, but it's just because he's a priest. But he's like. I don't know.
I think he does it. I think he does it well.
Compared to Jaina and her English accent and all the nuns, he's too flashy and kind of.
But I think that comes across that he's basically there to come in and like, he's the face. He's to come in and cover it up and to be the warm presence and get everything back in line. Like, I think he does that well, and a smarmy yank is kind of what you want for that role.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I thought he did quite well. Like, when she arrives, he's so warm, he's so pleasant, he's so like, oh my God, like, can we do anything for you? And of course we will cooperate. And then even does cooperate with certain things. Like, do you know what I mean?
It might be because he looks like, what was the name of the guy that he looks like? I said, is it that guy? And you're like, no.
I can't remember.
Is it Ray Wise? Am I making that up?
Yeah, Ray Wise.
Who plays Satan? I think whenever I look at Danny Huston, I just think of Ray Wise playing Satan.
Reaper?
Yes, that's what I thought Danny Huston was. I thought Danny Huston was Satan from Reaper.
No, he's not Ray Wise. He's Angelica Huston's brother. John Huston's son.
So I still feel like I've been harsh in Consecration for just completely dismissing it. So like, what do we do? Like, we followed Gina, like, from her house with some spooks to this convent. She gets to know the nuns. They're spooky as nuns would be. Occasionally, it's quite funny, like, at one point she walks out and all the nuns are lying face down, and she's kind of like, whatever. Just carries on walking.
Yeah. There's a certain amount.
Weird nun shit.
So she's an atheist, and they're a like very religious sect of Christianity, and she's kind of there by choice, but not really by choice at times. They're by choice at times, and she's just very done with their shit.
Yes.
They're not violent with her. It's not like we are keeping you here locked up and blah. Like, she's not scared of them.
No.
They are just super religious, and she wants to find something out.
Well,
and
she
there
also
is
blames them for her brother's death.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but there is just moments where she is just so absolutely done with their shit, with their religious shit. I would give it a 6. It's not an amazing movie. It gets let down at certain moments, but it is totally like a passable, like, one of these movies.
I think it would have been the 5 if it wasn't for the ending, and it's a 4. I'd say. I genuinely don't understand what the ending was going for or meant. So there you go.
Little Bowen Lodge, directed by Matthias Hoene. From Matthias Hoene, director of Cockneys vs. Zombies and the producer of 47 Meters Down, a twisty thriller that will chill you to the bone. During a stormy night in the Scottish Highlands.
So funny, we're in the
second movie.
Scottish Highlands.
Second movie in a row. Yeah. 2 criminal brothers on the run seek refuge in a desolate farmhouse, but after taking the resident family captive, they find the house holds even darker secrets of its own. Coloured out of space star
I forgot she was in that.
She was. It's just such a weird pool. Jolie Richardson, who was there at FrightFest, plays the fearsome family matriarch who will stop at nothing to protect her kin and the shocking mysteries that surround their very existence.
Listen, don't talk too much about it. Fuck's sake. Like, it's at its heart a mystery, a dark mystery thriller, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
it is very much. It's another one of those movies where and I think the best of our three mystery-ish ones. This one doesn't have nuns in it. But yeah, it's a movie that unravels little bits and pieces over the course of it, and really kept me hooked. All the characters seem like really well done, and you like fall into all of them. And then that makes, when things do change and when circumstances change, it does up the stakes a lot more. I thought this was a really well done thriller, mystery, horror, drama.
Yeah.
Touches on some stuff that it didn't necessarily need to touch on, I think, is the problem with it.
Overreaches itself, does it?
A wee bit.
Yeah.
I think you could have got that exact story while making one pretty major character change, like arguably for the better, because they don't do anything with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not to say that stuff cannot be
explored.
Yeah, exactly. But it didn't really do, and also the rules for it seemed pretty inconsistent at times.
Yeah.
I might as well say it as one of the. Yeah, I realized it's not actually a spoiler. One of the characters has, one of the two criminal brothers has learning difficulties, mental difficulties, whatever way you want to put that.
It's not specified.
It's not specified. It seems like autism or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And yeah, the rules for his, like, mood swings or freaking out or whatever do seem pretty inconsistent throughout the movie.
Yeah, kind of for what's convenient.
Yep.
To move things along in a way, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of stings it a wee bit, but nothing too bad.
Yeah.
Again, they don't. Thankfully, even though they don't do much with it, they don't abuse it or like badly treat it or anything.
Yeah. Could have gone way worse. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And it's set in dreary old Scotland.
Yeah. Rainy Scotland. Yep.
Yeah, it's raining pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah. It's definitely quite a dark film. I saw a bit of where it was heading quite early on. I'm just smart like that, I guess. It's quite impressive. But even then, it's still, it went further than I thought it was going to. Christ. And we can't see any more about it. I gave
Except
it
the score.
Yes, which I gave it a 6. I'd say, yeah, watch it. It's good. It's nothing. I don't know. To be fair to it, it's quite memorable compared to.
It is.
So
it could have been a lot less memorable.
Yeah. So that might become a 7 over time. I'm not
sure. For me, it is a 7.
Yeah.
It reaches that. It's a well done movie.
Yeah.
And the performances are really strong.
It's hard to tell because sometimes some of the developments are kind of edging onto ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I don't know how. Afterwards, I wasn't sure entirely how everything sat. Hence a 6. It might be a 7. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Well, while Donald ponders that, I'm going to move on to Here for Blood, our penultimate movie of the festival.
Yeah, boy.
Here for Blood was directed by Daniel Turres. It's the tongue-in-cheek, extreme splatter, campy comedy horror shocker of the year. When his girlfriend is swamped with college exams, Tom O'Bannon, a rowdy pro wrestler struggling to make ends meet, agrees to fill in as a last-minute replacement for her well-paying babysitting job. Tom arrives at an isolated family home where he meets the precocious 10-year-old Grace. Second movie with a character named Grace. But what starts off as a quiet night of pizza and video games quickly spirals into bloody, violent, demonic chaos as Tom and Grace find themselves fighting for their lives when an otherworldly cult of masked intruders descend on the home.
Yeah. So, what a premise. Wrestler come babysitter has to fend off Satan-worshipping perverts. I thought it was... Like, say this starts off and you see Tom wrestling... I thought he was a wrestler. He was very convincing.
I genuinely thought he was a wrestler.
Yeah. I mean, they'd obviously gone to... They'd obviously got a show involved and seen like, right, get your wrestler out, and Tom will wrestle with him and we'll shoot it. And fucking, it really looks like a wrestler. And you as biscuits.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got the build of a wrestler.
Yeah, he's fucking huge.
Yeah, Sean Roberts. You might know him as Albert Wesker from the Resident Evil movies.
Completely unrecognizable, so I would be surprised.
Unreal, like.
I don't
and
remember
funnily, he probably looks like 10 years younger than he did in those movies.
I don't remember him having that kind of build in Resident Evil. He might have
No,
done,
he didn't.
But
I think he's put it on for this. I think he's put it on for this movie.
I mean, he's definitely no. I don't think he's put it on. I think he just rocks that look now. That's what I think. He looks like a wrestler and he wants to. By God, he looks good.
But that's not the important part of this movie. He's a wrestler who ends up going and babysitting a kid. You've seen that movie 1,000 times.
Yep.
And then the house gets attacked.
Yep.
And
what's
they fight them off.
What's the rest to do? But go, well, I could
but
fight.
Fucking yeah. Yeah. And chaos ensues. I don't want to give too much of this movie away.
Nah, not really.
Because it's that. It's for the most part, it is that.
Yeah.
It is chaos ensues when a wrestler goes to babysit a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you think it is, and then more.
Yeah.
And it does it really well.
Yeah.
The main stars, Sean Roberts and Joel Farrell, do a fantastic job bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
They have really good chemistry, which for a movie like this, what?
Is Joel Farrell the kid?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good kid actor. Thank God.
Good kid. Yeah, good. Like genuinely, they have great chemistry together, and that has to work. You need that for this movie to work, and it does. And then the writing's fun, the dialogue's fun, the set pieces are fun. It's a fun movie. It's genuinely just
very funny. Also,
yep, straight through to the end.
Yeah,
it was top to bottom a fun movie.
It's got lots of good splatter. The director and writer were there, and it does say and the film star Joel Farrell, so the Joel Farrell might be the older.
Is she the older one?
She might be the older one.
Did I get that wrong?
You might have got that wrong, but I don't think they would have flown the little kid out to Glasgow. She probably got exams to sit or something. The director and writer were both clearly influenced by Evil Dead. They talked about it. They talked about how they funded this movie in a similar way. They were inspired by it. And it shows they wanted to throw lots of blood on the screen, which they do. It looks really, really good. Yeah, you said everything basically. It is...
Apologies, Maya Misaljevic.
Very good. Yeah, it's beginning to end. Fun all the way through. And it's still rocking virtually no ratings or anything on. By the way, it says it's 2 hours long. Didn't feel like it.
Didn't feel like it at all.
It currently has
43
ratings on IMDb, so I'm sure a lot more people are hopefully going to see this soon.
Yep. I would give it an 8.
Ha! Give it a 9. Fuck you. I can be generous for once.
So yeah, it was basically the difference between what did you like more, Onyx or Here for Blood?
Pretty much.
And yeah, they're just fine. I would argue that sorry, spoilers for the last movie. I would argue that the two comedy horrors were the best movies of the whole weekend. They were.
Yes, I think
great
they
fun.
Were too.
Great fun.
Were they? Yes, they were. Sisu was good too.
Yeah, Sisu was good. I think that came fourth for me.
Oh, Chad Gets the Axe. Oh, fucking hell, yeah, okay. Chad Gets the Axe was also one of the better movies. So yeah, all the comedy horror. Which is weird because if you told me beforehand, we never look at really what's coming up until it's upon us. But if I'd known it was so comedy horror heavy, I would have been like, oh, I'm not sure. Because comedy horrors can be...
shit.
Yeah. And I think they're quite difficult to do. So it's quite weird that the ones we watched.
Two of them, Matt. Yeah.
Hey,
and it's
Chad
not
Gets
like
the Axe. Put respect on Chad's name right now.
No. Yeah. So the last movie, 13 Exorcisms.
13 Exorcisms?
Jacobo or
I don't know.
Jacobo. Martinez. Inspired by recent events in Spain, relentless suspense and skin-crawling horror begins when shy, sensitive teenager Laura is tricked into taking part in a Halloween seance to contact the spirit of a mad doctor who murdered his family. From that night on, Laura's life is forever changed.
You
Dark
just
presences...
lose interest halfway through. Fucking hell.
Dark presences, terrifying visions, ominous voices, painful marks on her skin, and other paranormal phenomena haunt her.
Set menu,
Laura's
please.
religious parents decide to call the local priest for advice, who claims she's possessed. To set her free, he will have to perform a series of exorcisms. That was a weird way of saying that. Each more violent than the last.
How many exorcisms?
Well, you'll have to watch it to find out. We've watched movies like Veronica. Was that one of them?
Was Veronica one of them?
I'm sure it was
she
one
get
of them.
Exorcised? I can't remember.
I'm sure it was
it's an exorcism movie.
This is an exorcism
Emily
movie.
Rose and fucking
Yeah.
shit like that. The Exorcist, shit like that.
What one's that? It was very much one of them.
Yeah. There you go.
There's not a lot to say about this movie.
Not really. It's the same stuff. I do quite like the whole. One thing I do like about possession movies is when you get the kind of setup where the person's getting haunted and it's kind of relentless because they're the ones being haunted rather than a haunted house. Why don't they leave? You know what I mean? I do quite like that kind of those moments where someone's being pursued by like a malevolent force, and it was done fine in this as well. The premise about the doctor, I don't know where that went. It gets kind of thrown out the window later on.
It was literally just like the actual who is haunting, because I don't spoil too much, but it turns out it's not a doctor haunting her.
Yeah,
like that is just your MacGuffin.
I mean,
for all of this to happen.
I don't see
because
I'd have to watch it back because I'm like, did they not set up it was him? Totally.
Yeah, well, no, but that's what I'm saying is like it seems to be both in and out of fiction, the MacGuffin to get things going.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very much one of those movies. They do their exorcisms. I've seen better exorcism scenes. I've seen worse exorcism scenes.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do anything too new with the formula.
No.
It seems to have very inconsistent messaging on what they want this to be like, of what they're saying about religion and non-religion, and because there's a atheist counselor that works in her school who's kind of the hero, not hero, hero, not hero throughout a lot of it.
Yeah, the parents are of the line that it's like they're hardcore religious, so that's painting in a bad light. And then the atheist teacher is like the person that's listening to her, But then, it's
the way things go doesn't necessarily
it's a
all.
fucking exorcism movie. She's
Yeah.
wrong. It's gonna be demons of some description. It's not gonna be rational. It never is.
And I also I talked about this afterwards. They're like, the especially with something like The Conjuring, the devil made me do it.
Yeah.
When things are based on recent events or actual events, this one gets away with it a wee bit more because it's not based on an actual specific event. Like, no character names are based off of the actual people.
Inspired by recent events in Spain. I don't know how much to take.
I think there is.
There
have been. I think there have been.
This when the text came up at the end, being like, we've changed names and blah blah blah. Everyone was just laughing because it was like, yeah, of course it's not fucking real. Like, it basically came up saying, no, it didn't actually happen. Like, yeah, we know it fucking did. We just watched it. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
But the horrible reality of what it could be is uncomfortable.
And well, I think I have read more than one thing of like exorcism cases, whether in Spain or elsewhere, where it is like, pretty horrendous shit happening.
Yeah, of course it is.
And that stuff kind of leaves me with a kind of bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
This one is, again, doesn't, it gets away with it a wee bit more, whereas something like The Conjuring, where it was like, this guy murdered his family, but what if it was Satan? And it's like, it's a bit much for me.
Yeah.
So that kind of, it does, just make it up, mate. Just make it up.
Yeah.
Even if you are basing it on recent events in Spain, just make it up and you don't have to include that. Doesn't make it better for me. It makes it worse.
Yeah. It definitely didn't enhance this film anyway, I don't think.
Yeah.
The whole...
I would give it a 6.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 too.
Yeah,
I said it was scary enough, fine. None of these exorcism movies need to exist. They really don't. This was perfected straight out the gate with the first movie that did it. And all we've been able to do since then is better contortionists. And
I do like every time an exorcism movie comes out, because I like much like you, I like exorcism movies. I like haunting movies.
I'd say I like haunting movies. To be fair, once the exorcism starts, I'm always like, fuck.
But exactly. I like haunting movies more than I like whether. But even The Conjuring has a lot of that, where it's like it's an exorcism movie, but there's a lot of haunting shit going on.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of stuff, but it's very hard to do cool new stuff with it because it has been done many times and perfected.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to perfect it again, but it's hard to like mine that for new stuff.
Yeah. But listen, I mean, it's been a while since I've watched one of these movies. It was the end of the festival. It was scary enough. 6 out of 10. It's fine.
Yep.
It was totally fine.
So overall, it was a decent festival. Day 2 was definitely a higher mark than the first one. But no, overall, I always enjoy this event. Again, it's good seeing a lot of similar faces. Yeah. Everyone that runs it is a character that I will never get tired of watching present. It's good to see like that stuff happening in Glasgow. Yeah. While we're back home as well, what are the chances? Another good Fright Fest.
Yeah.
Part of the overall Glasgow Film Festival, which seems to happen just generally throughout the year because there's this one and then the French one and then. So will we do it? Will we start doing a French film podcast? Ah well, I tried.
No. Yeah.
Well,
I also enjoyed this fest. I don't know. I'd have to look back over my scores to see if they were particularly. But Here for Blood's the best movie I've seen at Fright Fest since VFW, and I loved VFW.
Wow. VFW.
I don't even think it's close. Like, I genuinely think that movie's great, and I loved VFW. Not to say that the intervening fest wasn't really good too. It's just in terms of highlights. There you go.
Yeah.
Right. Next up, I think we will finally look at a Dark Song.
Yep.
Props, because I still feel like watching that movie. Maybe I should have just said Dark Song, and then maybe we'll do Elementary in Spain. It's nearby.
Yeah. Head down south.
Yes. I'm a genius. Sorry.
God,
Yeah, I'm
I've
excited
got to get back in a caravan with you.
I'm excited. But until then,
well, I'm just gonna do the usual of you can email us. Email us at Caravan Tour of Terror at gmail.com.
Probably right.
Info's
in the description.
Info's in the description. And as always, thank you to Michael Maftean for the podcast music.
Yeah. Oh, we won't have a theme corner for him. Aww.
Not this time. You did mention themes once or twice, so just put in a 5-second quick.
You're editing this one, bitch.
I don't think I am. It's your turn.
No, I edited the last one. You always do this.
Oh God. Yeah, I always do this because it appears that every time. Well, get in the caravan. We're heading down south to England.
Wales.
Where? I don't see any. We're not by the coast.
God, bye.
Bye.